This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. Got my homeboy Jesse Burdick and myself doing some pulls on this day against some bands. It's about 200 pounds of band tension, and we're going to talk about form during the Sumo Deadlift. Just to throw out a little disclaimer out there, my boy Burdick has been moving his gym and so forth, so he hasn't had the training under his belt that he normally does. Just wanted to throw that out there because he's an 810-pound puller, but I get the better of him on this day. That's a 575-pound pull there for an easy double. I'm just going to kind of let some of this run through before I really start talking about form. But main thing I want to hammer home today is I want to talk about head positioning. I'm getting a lot of questions. People are like, what's the end-all, be-all way to deadlift? Well, there is no end-all, be-all way to deadlift. However, what we need to get some of you guys to realize is you're doing some funky, crazy shit with your head. Secondly, if there was an end-all, be-all way to deadlift, I certainly would not be the one to tell you that information. A lot of people that deadlift a lot better than me, that's for sure. But I'm learning step by step, day by day. So there was a 605 pull against the bands. Pretty cool. Pretty strong pull by me, considering coming off the injuries and stuff like that, off that fall with 1,080. So let's back this shit up here and let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can see. Some of you guys out there should start to recognize some certain patterns that we've talked about here on the Power Project before. So let's see as Burdick gets in a position here. Arms are nice and long. Head is downish, which is good. I don't even like to really say down, but you're trying to keep your head neutral. Let's see what else he does here. Brings his head up a little bit. Actually, looks like he could have moved his hips more right there. Brought his hips down a little bit more and brought his head back more. What that would do is that would bring his shoulders up. His shoulders, which are here, would come upward higher. Whoops, that's downward. This thing gets crazy. His shoulders would come up higher here. His hips would be down lower here. He'd be in a much better pulling position. It'd be easier for him to pull upward. So let's watch what happens here as he gets into this position and he starts to pull. Oh, broken. He's got broken head syndrome. You saw the head? You guys see the head, the chin lift up? If you didn't see it, let's back it up a little bit. We'll back it up and we'll see the broken head. Watch the broken head. Watch the hat. Watch the ST hat. The ST hat's supposed to add 20 pounds to your lift, not take away. See the chin kip up? I do believe that once you get the weight to about your knees, what you do with your head is kind of up to you. Let's see what happens with this boulder. Let's see what happens with my head here. I go to bring the hips through. Head is down. Neck is real neutral. Back is flat. And right there, just like we just talked about a second ago with Jesse, when he had the opportunity to pull his hips down a little lower and pull his shoulders up higher, he didn't quite do it. And then he lost positioning by kicking his double chin up. You're trying to make a nice double chin when you do this. I have a beautiful one right here. Watch as I begin to initiate this pull. Hardly any movement from the head. I do start to force my chin back as I get into the lift. Obviously, there's going to be some movement from your head, especially when the weights get heavy. Shit will start to fall apart. But what this allows you to do, it allows me to do, it allows me to stay tall, stand tall, make my arms longer, and it allows me to bring my hips into the movement much more effectively and much stronger. Finishing these lifts is easy now, whereas before, when I used to do some different things with my head and my technique was off, finishing lifts was really hard. But now, because I'm in a better starting position, where I finish is much easier and much more efficient to get to. See that position right there? That's a very manageable position to finish out a deadlift, even though this is 575 with about 200 pounds of bands on there. Just stretch those bands like they're nothing and rip them right off there when you got your form right. but the bands want to break your back and snap your spine when your form's off. So here, let's watch Burdick again. Again, Burdick's got me where it counts. He's got me on the scoreboard with an 810 pull. My best pull is 766. Good squeaker there with 575. A good max effort lift. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what happens here. Again, we're seeing movement from the head instead of a little bit more movement from the hips. Jesse and I both believe that you should try to pull with high-ish hips. And he may be in some disagreement with me on some of this here. But that's okay. We're allowed to disagree and still be buddies. His hips didn't kip up first, really. That wasn't really the main issue. Where I saw an issue was with his head. And that Jesse's head weighs about 363 pounds. So that's going to cause a problem. Let's watch it again. Let's watch that head. Chin kipped out and forward, setting his shoulders over the bar. Having your head just come up is not usually the biggest problem. It's usually having your chin kick forward. But so many people have their neck in a weird position when they deadlift. Next time you go to pull, whether it's sumo or conventional, pay attention to your noggin. See that chin kip out? And then it's just dead from there. Hips are already taken away. His hips actually already shot back a little bit. And the lift is kind of a dead lift. Dead lift, get it? The lift is kind of screwed up from there. He took some of his power away. He took his pins away from himself. He took away his legs. He took away his own legs and his own hips. Took them right out of the movement. And that's uncommon for Jesse. His form's usually locked in a little bit better. But this is showing you guys this to illustrate some of the differences in technique between the two of us. So here, this is 6:05 now. Now shit's starting to get a little crazy. Open the hips up pretty good. And my chin's not down quite as much. So because my chin's not down as much, my shoulders aren't as long as they were before. You guys see that? And then what happened there? We got a nice round in the lower back, didn't we? See, this shit even happens to Mark Bell, right? Here we go. Let's watch her again. And as I go to take off, we'll slow-mo her. We're in slow-mo. Let's back it up again. I need to jam my head back more, back and down more neutral, and kick my hips down just a little bit more right there. And I didn't do it. And because I didn't do it, I got roundy-ish. Again, things will happen. Shit will happen when weights are heavy. That's inevitable. Doesn't matter who you are. But you're trying to make this shit as perfect as you can. We're trying to practice perfectly so you can perform perfectly on the platform. So due to the fact that my chin isn't back, my back isn't back and as straight as it should be either. Everything should be back behind the bar more. Everything should be back this way more. And it should be easier for me to pull the weight upward. But I need to take that chin back a little bit more, and it would have set everything in motion to be more efficient. Hopefully you guys are seeing my point here on the deadlift, and that is it from supertraining.tv.